reassess that league campaign and look back on it, look at the last couple of games, or is it league finishes clean slate and you move on and wipe the slate clean?
Yeah, I suppose, listen, what's in the rearview mirror fast fades away, so yeah, listen, it's all been eyes forward on the first round of the championship for us, really.
You mentioned obviously the weather, and we saw obviously the game at the weekend. The weather was fantastic at Semple Stadium. Now you're looking at a game that's 2,400 fans are going to be in attendance. You look up to the stand, you see the green and the red jerseys. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm sure everybody is, yeah. We'd love to have more, but listen, it's a start. I hope it goes well. It's an important aspect of Saturday evening, I suppose, that it will go well, because we all earnestly want to see that being the start of a process of the full reintroduction of people back into our grounds.
Obviously, as you say, it's only 2,400, but this side, other than maybe playing in front of a couple of hundred, used to playing in empty stadiums, no noise. Do you think they'll be a bit taken back at all?
No, I don't think so. No, definitely not. They've always enjoyed the rough and tumble of the occasion, and I think that'll be just something that's happening. The same as we got used to there being nobody in the grounds, we'll get used to there being somebody back in the ground again. So, listen, it's not going to have any impact directly on the performance.
In the last couple of years, there hasn't been such a thing as an uneventful Cork v Limerick championship clash, it seems. I suppose you're looking forward to more of the same.
Yeah, listen, it's another chapter. It'll have its own story to tell. I suppose it's our challenge now to bring our best that we can bring on Saturday to that story, and trust in the work that we've done.
Just finally from myself, this week, is it going to be telling in terms of team selection with the injuries and the likes? Has Darren 15 in your head more or less already?
No, we won't meet until after tonight's training session to pick the team for next Saturday. But listen, we're happy that we've done a really good job in managing the load and managing the injuries that the players had picked up during the league, and they're doing really well. So we're on the front foot in that regard.
John, would you be open? Is this the first time you have a full panel to pick from over 2 years? If it's looking that way?
I can't say for certain, to be honest with you. There always seems to be something going on, and sure, we're not finished the evening yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, listen, I think looking at the wider picture, beyond our shores here, lots of counties have had to cope with losing individuals, in the run up to their first championship match. So it's just what you have to do. That's why the panels are there, and you have to go and give the next man his chance and let him at it. But from our perspective, I think we've done a really good job, and the medical team have done a really good job.
Does that include Mike Casey back in the small bit, or is he?
Mike Casey's making fantastic progress, and I expect him to resume full training tomorrow night week. Full training. So I expect him to be available for selection after next Tuesday.
He'd be almost, certainly on schedule, if not slightly ahead.
He's ready. The schedule is irrelevant. It's all about whether he's ready or not. He'll probably need 2 to 3 weeks post next Tuesday, but I think that we'd be extremely happy with where he's at, and he's worked really hard to get back up and running. So it's a really tough journey for fellas with the ACL injury. It's really, really tough. But I knew from the outset that Mikey had, incredible mental strength as well as physical strength, so he was always going to be okay.
In terms of managing that load through the league, I'm sure you spent much time on it. Was there a fear that you'd undercook anyone at any stage?
Listen, you'd always like to get a certain amount of work into fellas, but you also have to be realistic. And if there are pressure points there's no point in adding more pressure to that point. If there's a pressure point, you have to react to it, and if that means you have to ease off on the load for certain individuals, that's what you do. But at the end of the day, I know that these guys have enough of work done, not just this season, but cumulatively over the last number of seasons, and that work doesn't go to waste. It's not like at the end of the year that work that you did for the previous year or the year before that goes to nothing, and you have to start from scratch again at every time you start a season. So you're building on the previous year's work, and they're very experienced, all of these guys now. They've all been through injuries, so that they know how to come out of injuries better themselves as well. So it's just trusting the player, trusting the medical team, and being realistic with what we can expect from them.
Is that something you've learned over the 5 years? Would you have been as confident in
No,
year one?
Not at all. No. Sure, you do. You learn to trust, and trust is a huge part of what we do. And that trust is not just there between management and players. It's players being able to trust themselves and their own knowledge of their own bodies and their own injuries. And trusting the medical team is obviously a huge factor as well, and we've tremendous trust there. So yeah, it's a cumulative picture, but we've obviously learned an awful lot. I know words and phrases about medical in terms for injuries now that I would never have imagined that I would have known 5 years ago. Yeah.
John, I suppose each season when you start off a championship, are you always kind of looking to advance the game plan or to tweak it or kind of see where other teams are, or what is involved in that process?
I suppose, it's like anything, the whole thing keeps evolving. Everything keeps evolving. And were you to ask me 10 weeks ago where would certain things go this year, I wouldn't have had a clue. But yet things naturally take a certain path. And I've no doubt that this season, when we do sit down to reflect on it at a later stage, we will have seen that the game or teams have gone in certain directions, and I just hope we choose the right path. Yeah.
Just to go back to the Clare Waterford game yesterday, and Clare, a team that the narrative out there, they were coming with, against the All-Ireland finalists from last year, and managed to bounce the All-Ireland Munster Championship. I suppose no game can be taken for granted in this championship.
Absolutely not. Yeah. God no. Yeah. Every minute matters, and for us, it's about backing the work that we've done and backing ourselves and, focusing in on our performance and being the best team that we can be next Saturday night.
Jonathan told us yesterday that Ian Carr was very disappointed how flat his team were. I know he's been very consistent over the years. But as a manager, is there always that sense until you see the first 10 minutes, are they at the level?
You see, it's hard to compare one team with another team. From my perspective, is that a concern of mine for next Saturday? No, it's not. As I said, we have set out a programme of work for ourselves from the very outset. We've stuck to that. You'll have noticed that I would have mentioned during the course of the league campaign that I was looking for incremental improvements from week to week in the games. The result wasn't necessarily to be all and end all. It was that we were improving is what was important. And, for me, that's what we've been chasing now over the last few weeks, is to try and get that incremental improvement from week to week and carry that forward. And this week is no different to any other week. We're just looking to be better this week, than we were last week. And that's it. And the week after, hopefully, we'll go after a bit more again after that.
I know it's a cliche, that people discard what happened in the league, but obviously there was a lot of negativity in Cork after your defeat with Cork. I mean, how do you evaluate that now, or what part does that play in your thinking in the lead up to next weekend?
The league match is zero, being quite honest about it. You come back into training, and it's pre-championship preparation. You go at it hard in terms of your preparations, in terms of sharpening up, in terms of your conditioning, in terms of your preparation, in terms of the tactical side of it, if you want to go, if you may, and that could be just a case of highlighting a few aspects of your own game that you want to make sure are there front and centre when you do get to play. So, to be honest, zero is what I would say. I haven't reflected on that game at all as such, apart from the immediate reflection that we would have after every game. We would have an analysis, we would park it and move on, and that's the way we deal with it. That was one competition, this is another.
As was a finding for me, I think Clare probably caught Waterford yesterday, putting Tony Kelly for forward, and he's been in there. What are you expecting from Cork, or do you have an open mind?
Listen, I'm expecting a really high octane, extremely mobile, sharp, crisp unit that Cork always are in the championship, and I expect that we will have to work extremely hard in order to, ensure that we can maybe put as much pressure as we can on their game, and that we can have opportunities to, have the ball, that we can do what we want to do with it. So, for the most part, for us, that's the challenge, to be able to do, what it is you wish to do with the ball when you have it, and to be able to use the ball well, and when you haven't got it, to be able to work as hard as you possibly can to get it back. So I'm looking forward to seeing our lads, engage in that process now on Saturday. I really am. We've a lot of work put in. We look forward to this date now for quite some time, so we've got to enjoy it and go after it.
John, just one more for me. Obviously the 2020 minors get to play out their All-Ireland series on Friday in that semi-final. I know that all 4 management teams fought for it, and it was something that probably could have just as easily been scrapped rather than coming back months later to play out the competition. How important was it that the competition does get played out?
Yeah, all of these competitions are important. All of the club competitions within all the counties who didn't get finished are extremely important. COVID might have had a huge impact on our lives over the last 12 months, and in particular on the GA and all sporting organisations. But we have a chance to maybe, if you like, defy it a small bit in actually finishing those competitions, and ensuring that there is a full catalogue of title holders for 2020 in every county and nationally. And that's why those competitions are so important, along with the fact that many of those young lads didn't get to play any colleges or schools hurling last year. So their development, is really, really important within every county. So, another reason why it's very, very important that those competitions are finished out. And it's a great decision taken there to make sure that happens.
Just very finally for me, obviously Patrick Swell, a hurling stronghold, but great news for Limerick, I suppose, this week with Conor Murray being named Lions captain. I suppose it's positive news for Limerick, isn't it? And great to see that a parish that's mostly known for its hurling produces a Lions captain. Yeah,
the best of luck to Conor. He's obviously a really great leader, a tremendous player, always delivers. He's Mr. Consistent, just incredible athlete. And for us Limerick people, it's a source of great pride to see somebody from Limerick captain the Lions. It's a significant honour in world sport, let alone within rugby. So we wish Conor the very, very best of luck. I know he'll be still keeping an eye on Saturday night to see how we're getting on, but we'll be keeping a close eye on him for the next few weeks as well to see how he's getting on. We just wish him the very best.